Good evening. Welcome to Mighty Ox Trading Monday evening. Trying to get some money out of the futures market in the attempt to get funded by Earn a Trade. Hope everyone had a great holiday weekend. Hope we're ready for a great week here on the futures. Great month coming up in December. See how we do. I haven't looked much at the charts tonight. Haven't even set my highs and lows. My charts are all messed up. I'm trying something new here. If you see down here below, these are called Renko charts, or Renko bricks, whatever. It's a different way of looking at charts, and I'm experimenting with it. And we'll see. I need to do some sim trading on it, but it looks looking promising for a different way of trading. So we'll see how that goes. For now, as you can see, I got the Renkos all over the place, so all my charts are an absolute mess. But so let me try and unmess them. This is NASDAQ today, and you can see we had a very good day coming up. Came up just about 400 points. That's an $8,000 move up per contract. Let's pull back a little bit since it's top here. It's still near that overall top. And ES did a similar. You see, its lowest point of the day was the opening candle at about 45.88, and it made it all the way up to about 46.70. So almost 100 points, like 90 points, which is huge for the ES. I see copper's giving us signals here. Let me go check out copper. Giving us a buy signal here. It's been kind of rangy. This is only a 15 tick. Oh yeah, 15 tick. 3 tick. Hi, Mina. A plus. I'll call you A plus. Yes. The futures trade 22 hours a day, 5 days a week. And yeah, there's opportunities in the futures market. Just about any particular time you want to trade. There's a little bit of less volume, less liquidity, less movement in the evenings often. But yeah, I've done some very good trades in the evening. Last evening I did a trade on the Russell and did $255 on it. It was the only trade I took all the entire trading day. Well, I lie. I took a trade on the MNQ and then made $5. But the Russell trade went very well at about say it was about 7 p.m. Eastern. Central time. So yeah, trading in the evening. That's actually, excuse me. That's actually why I do a couple evening streams to show that trading can be done in the evening as well as the morning or even overnight. I did do one overnight stream once. It's hard for me to do because I got to be working on my other stuff to make money during the day. So, but I actually like trading overnight because things often trend. Here if you look at Nasdaq overnight, this. Well, this is this morning actually. Oh yeah, actually Nasdaq overnight was kind of choppy. But I mean, you had this nice trend here from about midnight my time up to about 1 o'clock, where it went up 11 to 48, went up about 40 points, and that's $800 right there. So yeah, it's definitely uh, possible to trade anytime, day or night. Just might be a bit slower at certain times of the day. Gold. See what gold did today. After experimenting with the Renkos and stuff this morning, I didn't really look at the charts much today, so looks like gold came up and then sold off. Only about a 19-point range today, which is small in gold, and gold's actually giving us a signal here. It's on a 5-minute chart. Let me see what the signal is on the 1 minute. There. You can see gold's been actually coming down the evening so far. Copper. Now, for some reason, I have two of the same charts up on copper, and I'm not sure how exactly I did that. So let me go back to my candles here. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do anyway. So let me go back to my candles here. And let me go back to 5 minute. And let's see how badly I messed up this chart. There's my one yellow line, there's my other yellow line. Copper actually was a very subdued, it looks like. Let's bring this down. It's like the opening candle was the low. Can't see where it stopped. There it looks like. And this was the high. So not as subdued as I thought. About 200 ticks. Doesn't look like it, but it is. I'm here knocking these signals down, not looking what they actually are. Natural gas, so ignore that for now. If you stay with me, once I get this charting done here and see how things have been moving, I'll explain what these Renkos are and what I'm experimenting with. UltraBond. Should be a 5 minute. I really did mess up all these charts. Move that up. Boom, 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 boom. UltraBond. Ooh, UltraBond looks like it was rangy most of the day. There. There. Your rangy mutt. About a little over a 2 point range. Not too bad. Crude oil. 5 minute. Okay, crude over. Looks like crude. That's the crude was about a 4 point range, a little over a 4 point range. Looks like it came up, consolidated most of the day, up, down, further down. Natural gas. Ooh, that's an interesting chart right there. Look how straight that was almost. I mean, for the first 12 hours. I mean, it just, look at this. I mean, until it finally broke out, it had that one big candle here, and that was its high of the day at the very first candle. Went sideways, up a little bit, down a little bit, sideways, then finally down, and then sideways again. Seems to be the low right here. So it's about still 400 ticks. That looks like the first big move happened right at the start. Okay. So it's almost 8 o'clock on the East Coast. I'll wait for 8 o'clock to hit before I start looking, take trades, because 8 o'clock, one of the Asian markets opens, and it can send things kind of weird and wacky and wild. So let's take a look at, not that. Let's go back to our two NQ charts here. Let's show you what Renkos are and what I'm trying to do with them. Renkos are a different kind of candlestick. They don't really call it a candlestick, but they're a block. It's just a different way to measure price action. It takes a lot of noise out of it. You can see how here you have going up here. You have red, green, red, green, red, green. You know, mostly green as it goes up, but red, and this takes a lot of noise out of the market. Each one of these blocks represents 10 points. And it doesn't reverse until it's gone backwards 20 points. So you can kind of stay within the trend longer if you're willing to follow these signals. You know, these are the same signals as these, except for it just reads it different because it's reading the data differently. Now, there are some discrepancies that I need to work out. I need to see whether or not it's viable to trade off these Renko charts. Because if it is, it's just so much smoother. Now, it's not always smooth. You know, you find times like here, if you're following, this one that worked, that one that worked, and this would have worked for 5 points, downward. But for the most part, it looks really smooth. So I got to test it. I got to test it in a sim environment versus not on my Gauntlet account, where if I'm reading this wrong or understanding it wrong in some way, or there's something that I just don't foresee, that I don't end up like blowing the Gauntlet account by testing something. Always test on sim. So I'm going to try and do this on NQ on sim, and then we'll try other assets at another time. But if this is as good as I think it is, this is something I can teach and show other people how to use, and that would be awesome. Okay, so we're at the top of the hour here, so let's see what's popping. Hopping, popping, hopping like a rabbit. See, this is what I mean about the wackiness that occurs right here at the top of the hour. You see NQ bopped up, you see gold bopped up, you see copper bopped up, you see the bonds not caring. S&P, Russell, Crude, all went up. So now we'll wait for some signals. Excuse me. I usually try to mute before I cough, but just didn't get there in time. So you can see here, this is copper. I have this set on, actually I know this set in a way I don't want it. Well, let me see. Each one of these blocks represents 10 ticks. So what did I knock down? Crude oil. What's crude doing? Let's check what crude's doing. Ooh. So copper went up by 10 ticks and then back down by 8 ticks. That's an interesting move right there. Gold went up and then fell down and broke its crown, and Joe came tumbling after. So everything that went up in that minute there at the top of the hour fell back next minute. Now we're getting a short signal here on copper, or we're trying to. So we're going to look at taking this trade. Maybe. Just pull back enough to take away the signal. It's back. Pulling back. Gold would have been the one to take, it looks like. That one's heading south. Copper is not. And Q's giving us a signal on the regular charts. So you have NQ on the Renko's 2 on Ninja Trader. Ooh. So gold reversed. Luckily we didn't take that signal. Signal went away on NQ as well. I'm sorry, copper reversed. Gold reversed too. Oh, there's the signal again on NQ on the next candle. Oops. Now copper's trying to come back down again. And you know what? Copper's really volatile right now. I'm not going to mess with it. NQ again. Now the NQ is meeting some upward trending Bollinger Bands here, so I'm hesitant anyway now. And it just kind of keeps pushing pushing it down the road here. You can see here. I make this up here in the upper left-hand corner. See, it's giving us signals here, 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 and keeps pulling back. So we'll revisit that later on. UltraBond giving us a buy signal, coming up through some downtrending bands down here in the bottom right-hand corner. Also have some downtrending, the downtrending upper bands, downtrending SMA line. Makes me not want to take this. See if I'm wrong. By the way, I would be negligent not to mention that if you are ready and looking to do an evaluation with Earn to Trade, That Earn to Trade just has some Black Friday sales going on through tomorrow at midnight. So about another, I'm not sure, like 29 hours. 50% off all evaluations with Earn to Trade. My link is down below if you're interested. Um, and that's for the entire life of the subscription. So, if it takes you 2 months or 3 months or whatever to do the evaluation, then it'll stay that 50% off until you either pass or until you can cancel the subscription. So if you feel you're ready to do an evaluation, now would be a great time to get started. That's an interesting. I never, every now and then you'll see a big gap like this, but usually you'll see it in copper. This one candle closed here at 436.20. The next one opened at 436.00. It's a four tick. Well, that's a forward progress is a good thing. Do you have any questions or anything that you're getting stuck on that I might be able to help with, A plus? Cool. Oh, just remember, don't hesitate to ask you know, ask any questions that might pop up. We're getting a buy signal here on crude. It's flirting with both the ATR line and the SMA line. SMA slightly downtrending, but nothing spectacular. Crude chart. Do I have a crude chart? There it is. Moving up here. Oh, big move. We're going to mark it in. We're filled. Oh, I guess you want to see, don't you? There we go. Magic. Upper left-hand corner where our Ninja Trader chart. I'm on the wrong. Yeah, it's not good. Wrong strategy. Should have been there. let's see what happens. I can manage this trade manually. I'm in at 21.10. Looks like it's not actually a bad. I've been 12 tick stop loss. I would normally do 10, but 12 is fine. See if it rebounds. Looks like it's going to stop us out. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so that immediately came down on us, and $120 loss. Probably shouldn't have got in there. It looked going like it was going up strong. This is oftentimes where you see things just kind of hang in reverse right away. So that was just me being impatient. Oops. No, that's not what I want to do. That's what I want to do. You can see here, this is a good comparison of Renko versus regular. This is each one of these blocks. This is since the open, and we'll even go to a 1-minute chart here. This is what a 1-minute chart looks like on regular candlesticks since the open, which was a little over 2 hours ago. This is the Renko chart since. See how it removes all that noise? You know, from the open here, which was right around 70 even, up to we've gone up 71.14. So each of these represent basically $100 going up, a little bit of a pullback there, and continue to go up. And it, you see here, it's given us zero signals. If I would have got in, I would have just got in based on the signal from the prior trading day, the one that ended at a couple hours before the open, and I could have just followed this up. It still hasn't given us signal. Now it's pulled back some here, but it's come right back up. It basically ignores all this. It only, it only forms a break if it pulls back by 20 ticks. It's the only way, it gives us a red brick. Now, if it would have pulled back another 10, then it would have broken this ATR line and we would have got a short signal. But it never did that, and then went up, recovered basically the loss of this brick and went up another 30 ticks for this latest pullback. So it removes all this noise. So, and if you look at this, if I went with this short signal here, I would have only gotten 4 ticks out of it. That would have been a failure. This one would have, this one obviously would have worked. Up to about 30 ticks. This would have failed. This would have worked for like 10 ticks, 12 ticks. This would have failed. This would have failed. This would have failed. Well, I mean, this kind of would have failed. If it went far enough to stop me out, then would have went down. And then, of course, this is what we just failed at. Versus just buying and forgetting until, it pulls back enough to give us a short signal or whatever. I just need to figure out whether or not there's something I'm missing, because it looks kind of too easy. And I mean, and it's not always this smooth. And the thing is, trading, you see, here's where it can be not smooth. If you look here, it's up and down, but you get that kind of the same way, you know, that same here. Let me see what that same time frame looks like. This was what? About midnight to about 6:30. Okay. So here to yeah, right around right there. So this represents this. Obviously, there's some opportunities here. Yeah, you can see that, but there was. I mean, technically, there were some here too. I mean, let's dissect this. These each of these blocks are 10 ticks. So if you got in off of this buy signal, you could get 20 ticks. This sell signal, you could get 10 ticks. So if you set your profit target for set 10 ticks, these all could have worked. This one would not have. They're not all going to work. This one would have pulled back 20 ticks. Probably would have taken a stop out there because you don't want to, probably don't want to pull back 20 ticks unless you're totally trusting you want to just wait till the next signal. Then it would have went, actually, if you got in here at 71.60, it would have went up as high as 71.98. So you could have got 38 ticks out of it if you were willing to take that pullback. Then here you would have got at least 2 ticks if you wanted to hold them. You could have got, 30 ticks or more. This one would have got you 10. That one would have got you 10. That one would have not gotten you anything. This one would have not gotten you anything. So you probably, even through this choppiness, you probably would have had about 50%. But I gotta trade this. I gotta trade a couple of assets just to make sure there's something I'm missing. Because trading views Renko charts are different than a normal Renko chart. They tie it to a time frame, and most Renkos are not tied to a time frame. They're just every time it goes up 10 ticks, or it goes back 20 ticks, it makes a new brick. But if it does all that within the time frame, then it's kind of wacky. I probably just confused you all, because heck, I am even still confused. Let's check out what the Russell's doing. Russell's showing a short signal here. Uptrending bands. Crude continuing to come down after it took us for 130 bucks. Remember, please feel free to say hello in the chat. Ask any questions, make any statements. Tell me what you spent money on today. If you spent money on Cyber Monday or Black Friday or Small Business Saturday, or if they designated Sunday anything that I haven't heard of. UltraBond. UltraBond giving us a buy. Not a strong buy. Gold going into the bands here on this bottom left hand side. This is the pullback I expected there. So again, here's the Treasury bond. It's going straight down, and you can see here it sent us a short signal here, and it's each one of these blocks is 4 ticks. So this one went down 12 ticks, which for the bonds is like almost $400. It definitely has potential. Now, honestly, it gave us a sell short signal here. This is a 5-minute chart too. And let's see, 19, 10 down to 26. Actually, that was better. This Signal actually came before that one. Interesting. What did the 1 minute give us on the UltraBond? UltraBond didn't give us one until 51. Okay. Okay, looks like the Nasdaq's trying to sell off some here now. We have downward trending on everything. I shouldn't say everything. Gold's giving us a buy. There's our gold chart. Let's get our right parameters in place. Gold after 8. And buy the bid. Gonna buy. See if we get filled here. Okay, we're filled there. Of course, immediately pull back. See Nasdaq kind of bouncing there. We're down 1 tick on gold. There we go. Now we're in profit by 1 tick. Gold's kind of consolidating here sideways for the last 5 minutes since we got in here. Oops. With a slight trend downward. Nasdaq's giving us a buy signal here. Pull back. Definitely just kind of hanging around the same area. Now maybe we're seeing a little momentum, hopefully. We're up one tick, where we're up two ticks. Back to break even. Didn't jump on this NQ. But the slight downtrending of the SMA just kind of what burned us. That the same setup burned us in the crude oil trade earlier. Showing patience with this trade, obviously. Mostly been up as 3 ticks, mostly been down as 3 ticks so far. Let's see if the DOM shows us anything. Let's see, stacked orders on the bid. 86.1's good resistance with support with 23 stacked there. The ask is more thin, so that's a good sign. Thinner, more thin. Yeah. Glad I don't know any of my English teachers anymore. Move that off the screen. We're down 2 ticks. Just need some buyers to come in. Anyone wants some gold? There we go. Gold for sale, $10 a tick. UltraBond going down a little bit here. Oh, everything popping here at once. What's crude? What's crude? I mean, I'm sorry. What's coal? Copper. Copper. That's what I'm talking about. Copper. Copper's downtrending. Trying to come back up. Nasdaq's going to try and make me wish I had taken it. Well, no, it's kind of pulling back too. We got it in at 16,430, and it's actually below that price. So good. Oh, look, we're up 5 ticks. Oh, we're getting some buyers now. Gold, five ticks, 6 ticks. See if it continues here. Come on, let's see that momentum come up. Our goal here is 16 ticks and we're up 7. Now we're up 10. Now we're up 12. My stop loss has moved to 2 ticks above break even. Hopefully it doesn't come all the way back. Still trying to move up. There we go. Getting a little bit, there we go. No, struggling a bit at this level. Thirteen ticks right here. But it's hit this level in 3 straight 1-minute candles and hasn't been able to get through. So part of me wants to call it here. We'll see. Give it a little bit more room to breathe. Gonna move my trailing stop up so I at least get 5 ticks out of this. Would be 50. A lot of orders have come in on the ask. I'm looking at Dom. I have my finger on the sell button. I did until that popped. There we go. Still back on the sell button. It's going to try one more time. It's really struggling at this level for some reason. I don't really see any reason why it is. We see copper centers a short signal that I wasn't paying attention to. It looks like this is a good one, but now our gold trade's moving. My stop loss has moved up to just 3 ticks behind, 4 ticks behind. Guaranteeing now 12 ticks out of this trade. Continuing to move up. There we go, blow that up for you. See my trailing stop here, this red line. It's now one tick above that trailing stop. Kind of sitting there. Okay, there it took us out of the trade. I believe it was 14 ticks. Let's go take a look. Yes, 14 ticks. You can see we're now up $10. So they erased our $130 loss on crude oil and gave us a 10. We're up $10. Green. Looking at the executions, this shows me stuff I was doing earlier today. Ignore all this. I was testing those Renkos. That gold trade lasted 15 minutes, a little less than 15 minutes, and we made $140 out of it. That crude oil trade earlier lasted only 1 minute and 3 seconds, and then we lost 130 on that. So we've been in trades for about 16 minutes total, and we're up $10 right now. That crude trade was probably a bad trade on my, just taking that on my, was bad idea on my part. But we're green right now. And we'll see. Now, yeah, AQ's giving us a short signal. Unfortunately, it sucks that I wasn't paying attention. I gotta get better managing more than one trade at once. Is this what we go signal on copper? I mean, maybe not as good as I thought. It's gone down about 10 ticks. Now we just sit and wait for the next trade. You can see gold is still going back up. Now, we got what we got, so I'm not going to be upset if this continues to go. We got something out of it. We don't need to, like, break the bank on every trade. Um, I've developed a uh, for everything I trade, I have an idea in mind. When I go into a trade, like on gold at this time of night, I'm looking for 16 ticks, and I'm running a 10 tick stop loss. But on copper, it's 20 ticks and 12 ticks. On the UltraBond, it's 7 ticks and 5 ticks, and so on and so forth. I've gone through the data each, and you know, planned out each asset and seen the average of how far it goes, etc. But like during more volatile times where there's more activity, like in the mornings, instead of running 1610 on gold, I'll run 3525, which gives it more room to pull back and more room to roam, to go forward. Same thing with NASDAQ. With the NQ, normally I'm looking for 15 points, and I'll run a 10-point stop loss. But between the hours of 8 and 11 Eastern, I'll run 30-20. But honestly, that rigidity of having that in place while the stats say it does work, it's not always the the best strategy, honestly, because sometimes you're just seeing more activity, per candle. Whereas normally, let's say I'm normally running that 1510, but for some reason there's more volatility that at that point in time, and each candle's averaging 10, then I would want to increase that, and I don't do that well enough yet. I like to be able to just hit a trade and not worry about figuring out where I want my stop loss and our profit target to be. And I got the stats to back up to say that that works most of the time. But it, that's just how I do it. It depends on trader to trader. You know, it's best to figure out what works for you. Definitely try different things when you're sim trading. Does a specific amount work for you, or do you prefer to manage your trade and just eyeball it? Like let's see here, like with Nasdaq. Nasdaq's a good one to always give an example. If we go back, uh, like here, yeah, here. At this point here, after 10 o'clock or my time, I'm already looking at only 1510. But as you can see, going up here, these candles are each 16, and some they're big candles. This was a 27-point candle, so I probably should be keeping, because if you look here, 1510 off this buy signal, that stops me out. Now, honestly, it stopped me out at 30, well, 29. So, I mean, I can't imagine ever actually having a 28-point stop loss on Q. So, it may have been a bad idea, bad example anyway. But, you know, some people like to use, hold on, let me remove this. You see this green line here that's attached to these buys and sells. This is called the ATR. Some people use that as their stop loss. Now, I might do that at some point once I have a bigger cushion, but there's no way I could justify having a 37-point stop loss. That's $750. Now, is there a point in time that maybe once I have an account that has $5,000 in it that I can get away with that? Because you can see this works. 37.50. If you're looking for, I'll say 1.5, right around there. That would have ended up working. But that's just too big of a risk, especially in a gauntlet where your max loss for the day might only be 1,100. Well, let's see what copper's doing, because it's calling our name. Buy signal, strong downtrending SMA line. Trying to go through it. You can see it failed once here. There's more room to roam, but I don't really like this. Let's see what it's doing on the 5-minute chart. 5-minute chart is also down here, downtrending SMA line. Am I looking at it both a 5 and 1 minute where it's below the SMA line? Yes, I am. We can see gold did continue to go. We got out of that gold trade at, we got out at 1787.9. It's now up to 1790. So it's gone up another $207 from where we got out, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, that'd be nice. And here's another strategy I plan on using eventually, once I trade more than one contract at a time, is that I would set my stop loss on one to cash out where we did, 14, 16 ticks, something like that, and just let the other one run with a trailing stop that's further back. Like, say, trailing by 10 ticks instead of 4. and that would have been able to catch this move because it never pulled back 10 ticks. And you can see this is continuing to go. So if I had done that, we had cashed out for 160, and then that other one would be up. Let's where did I get in at? I got in at 86.5, and it's up to 95. So that would be up $400. So that would be a $500 trade so far. And if it fully pulled back that 10 ticks trailing stop, it would still cash out for 300 bucks. But I don't want to run more than one contract right now yet, because obviously if it stops me out, instead of if it just reverses on me right away, that's a $200 loss even at 10 ticks. But that's my future plan, is to run more than one contract to be able to catch more of a move. UltraBond, right? Yeah. So you can see these moves on copper really aren't following through. So been our first short signal here. When it got in there, 12 tick stop, 20 tick profit target. And I've also considered the fact that maybe in the evenings I should be running a smaller profit target, smaller stop loss. But eventually that actually would have worked. But none of these other signals would have really worked for 420. So right now, if I was running a 10 tick trailing stop on this trade, uh, it still would not. It pulled back by 8 ticks, but so far still would not be out of that trade. UltraBond is just continuing to give us kind of lost signals. There's really no volume on it right now. You see all these dashes, which basically each one of these had like 5, 3, 1, 3, hardly any volume at all. Okay, so now we did get enough of a pullback on. See, this went up as high as 1795 or 1790.5. Pull back here to 89.6, 89.2. So it would have stopped us out for there if I had been doing a trailing stop of 10 ticks. So we had gotten in at right around 78, 1786.2, and we've stopped out at 1789.5. So about $330 plus whatever this would have stopped us at, I say, I thought it was 14 ticks, so 140. So that total trade would have been 470 on two contracts if I had been running two contracts with a wider trailing stop on the second one. Now that can also turn against me if it had only gone that 17 ticks and I cashed out on the one for 170 for 140, and then it continued falling back. Then I would have just got $70 out of that second one. No, that's still $210. Not bad, and still more than a one-to-one risk to reward. So, and that's my goal. My goal is to eventually move up to trading three contracts at a time, at least. I'll be able to trade up to 9 at a time once I'm up above a certain profit level. That's what I'm on the 75K gauntlet, mini gauntlet, and I'll be able to trade up to 9. I don't know if I'll ever have the guts to trade 9 at one time, but it sure is tempting. When you think about it, if you had if you're getting the win-loss rates that I think I should be able to get, trading 9, trade 9 on NQ and get 10 points out of it on all 9 contracts. That's 90 points or $1,800. 9 contracts there on copper. Even if you just get 10 ticks out of it, it's $900. But then if it goes the other way and you lose 10 ticks, you just lost $900. Yes, I know, Mr. Obvious. But honestly, if you're doing evaluation, unless you're using micros, you should never trade more than one contract at a time, in my opinion. There's no reason to. That's my opinion. I'm sure other people will disagree. Now, see, this is one of the times that copper or a move up through a downtrending SMA line worked or is working. See, copper here gave us a signal here. I would have jumped in here. It hasn't gone as far as I thought. It's only gone 11 ticks. But let's be curious and see if it goes up to our 20 ticks. 12 tick stop loss. NQ 431. Oh, see, it's weird. Trading views charts can sometimes throw you if you're depending on how you're viewing them. This looks like it went a long way, but yet this is only 4 points. So now we wait. I could chart, but you guys don't want to see me chart, so I don't think. Russell. The Russell. Looks like Russell's trying to pull back a bit, giving us a short signal here. I don't know. This would have been a good short signal here. This would have been a good buy signal here, I think, as well. 55 up to, that would have given us 3, I believe. Now it's pulling back. I'm not sure about that pullback though. Russell's still trying to. Copper and the UltraBond. Copper, pull back. Never did got anywhere near our profit target. Pulling back into a slightly uptrending SMA line. Not ES and NQ also pulling back. You see resistance or support down here. It came down 3 times down to this level, which is only 4 points away from where we're at now. So this seems to be more rangy than anything. Crude. Crude pulling back. UltraBond demanding attention, but attention it doesn't really deserve. Although, I mean, we probably wouldn't have gotten filled, honestly. I mean, these buy signals look good, but the chance of getting filled on such low volume is slim. So far, we have nothing really showing any follow through since that last nice gold trade. It looks like Nasdaq. That's an interesting move there. Hmm. Oh, it's the top of the hour. Wasn't watching the time. So you see here in the short signal, we would have gotten in at 28 and just wicked all the way down to 19. So it's still only 9 points. Bounced off this Bollinger Band's coming back up. We'll have to see whether it continues going down. That would be a good short signal or not. Again, one of the Asian markets open at this time, and it's bringing in some volume. You see volume picking up here in the volume bars. You always want to be careful at the tops of the hours. More so if you're going by Eastern time, 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern, and then again at 3 a.m. Eastern when the main Europe exchange comes online, and then 9 a.m. Eastern in the morning. See it bounce kind of back up from that low. That's the S&P. S&P did the same exact move though. You can see here. Sometimes it's hard to tell them apart. Now we kind of enter our boring stage of the evening, waiting to see what might pop next. Waiting to see how long we wait until I start playing with the Renkos, and you all have to watch me do that. And by you all, I mean all three of you that are here. See, everything's kind of up, down, up, down, up, down. Short signal and Crude are trying to, but coming right to the band, so we'll watch it. See, gold did continue its pullback. It came up back up a little, and now it's gone below the SMA line, which is starting to flatten. Russell. Buy signal here in the Russell. But we're kind of right now. Meh, meh, something like that. So let's this is the 1 minute chart so far on the Nasdaq. This is the 1 minute chart. This is actually a 5 minute chart so far on Renko's. boom, boom, boom. Kind of boring. I don't know. See what 1 minute looks like. Yeah, 1 minute's almost as boring. Pull back, that would have failed, or not failed, but kind of sideways. Let's, but it might just be as boring as the regular chart. Let's look. So if we had done 10 points, my normal 10 point stop, 15, 15, not 20. See, so that would have went 12. It's been enough to get me to break even there. But you can see, technically, this is all could have all been one trade. This is how rangy the Nasdaq is right now. So actually, 5 points would be better to go for right now. You know, but then you're almost, if you're going for 5 points, then you almost got to go for 5 points. And then you stop out there. I don't know. When you look at this, compared to this, which if you had gotten in here, these are 5 points a brick. It would have eliminated all this noise and, gotten here at 16,415. Even if you got out here at 420, well, it's following 5 points. So we've got in here at 415, and you had set just 15 points, you would have got it there. You could have got up to 40. So, I mean, that's kind of confusing to me, though. Well, yeah. Yeah, I would have caught this here. Would have got in here, up to here, kind of. Yeah, up to there. So I would have caught this move. This right here. Let me make that bigger. From here to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks, basically represents this. And then this basically represents all of this. That's how much noise it eliminates. As you can see, there really wasn't. I mean, you could, if you follow these signals, you could have got maybe 29 up to 38. 5 point scalps maybe. 5 points there, 5 points there. You wouldn't even gotten 5 points here or there. Maybe there. 31 up to 35. No. So I mean, half the time you wouldn't even gotten 5 points out of it. So in a way, this looks much better. Weird thing is it doesn't really show this pullback here. If you got in here, this says 1702, which is this candle here. 1702. At 415. About the same, but it pulls back to 415. It never shows that, which is interesting. And that's the part that's confusing me. And that's why I say I gotta trade it to make sure there isn't something hidden in the way it does Rankos. Because let's look at it. Well, let's look at what gold's sending. See if there's anything worth trading here. Gold. Pull back here in gold. Looks like it's trying to come back down. Let's check the 5 minute chart. See what it looks like. It's an interesting looking move here on the 5 minute. Basically, this is the move we caught earlier. Uh, what was I gonna do? Darn it. I sneezed and I got sidetracked. Sell off on the ES would have worked. The sell off on the NASDAQ would have worked. Well, this is that 11 points. All of a sudden, everything's kind of solid off. Gold giving us a short signal here. I don't think there's any reason not to take it. Except for that green candle there. See what it does. We can bring up a gold chart again. See if gold can give us a second win. Magic of the internet. There's the gold chart. Let's see. It's coming back up. Let's see if it drops back down. This is reverse 3 ticks since this short signal. Yep, looks like it's coming back up. Ooh-wee. Deluxe apartment in the sky. Okay. Nothing going on right now. Back to that view. Copper. Copper trying to come back up again. Failed that last time. You can see each time it's trying to come up, it's failed. And we have downtrending Bollinger Bands. So will not fall for it this time. Just won't. Russell. Russell's trying to bounce up. Rise up. I need a producer to do sound effects. Oh, you can have fun with these Rankos by setting them at different sizes as well. I mean, here's what it looks like if you make it 1 point. And that's actually, it's interesting. You can see you get a lot more signals. But the fact is they kind of come rapid fire. You know, a lot of these are all in the same minute. Like from here, 12, all the way up, well, 12, 12, 12. These are all 17, 12, 17, 12, 17, 12, 17, 14, 14, 15. So, these are all moving up at, a point every minute. Then you get these pullbacks that are like, boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Can you do half? Whoa, you can. So this is half a point. Oh, so 0.25. See, now I'm just looking for entertainment value. That's that's pretty. I mean, you gotta admit, that is much prettier than this. But not viable to trade because, at a quarter point, you're going up and down like crazy. What happens if you try and go lower? 0.1. I don't think it'll let you. No, okay, 0.25. But you can also go higher. Say I want it to go 15 points. And you can see there's hardly any signals at all. So I like 5. Actually, I like 1 a little bit too. Let's look at 3. It's right in the middle. So for 3, let's see what gold's doing. We probably should actually do some actual trading here instead of just messing with this stuff, huh? Well, let's see. Gold's trying to come back up. It exhausted back here at around 90.5. Yeah, 90.5 twice, here and here. 11 minutes apart. Earlier got up to, oh, look at this. That's also 95. So it's hit 90.5 3 different times. That is a major, what we call a major resistance level. Draw it all the way out here. It's come up 3 times. Came up, big move up. We had this big move up. Bounced off there. Came back up again. No can do. Came back up a third time. Nope-a-de nope. Bounce. Now it's 4 ticks away from that same area. Let's go back in time. Let's turn back time and see if this is a major resistance area anywhere back here. It really doesn't look like it. Well, let's look. It's above here. So it's right around here. Didn't seem to be any major. I mean, we saw it top out here 3 times, but it did bust above and then went below. So it doesn't look like it's. Wasn't any major thing back then. So let's go back to our current time. We're 2 ticks away. We did get a buy signal. We're at 1 tick since that signal. I don't want to take it. I will not take it until it's above this level. Anytime you see something that's bounced like 3 times like that, you want to see it get above that level before you get in, unless you're looking only for it like a 2 or 3 tick scalp. See the way it's already retreating. It's actually been in this kind of a range here. Let's see. Been in this basically a 14 tick range for the last 45 minutes basically. Boom, 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 boom. It's kind of bouncing. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing a show for toddlers when I'm saying up, down, up, down. I don't mean to make it sound so childish. That's not really the word I'm looking for. But yeah, I think you understand what I'm saying. Up, down. Everybody look what's going round. Well, sorry. And we pull back. So we won't do anything until we see it break this range. Whether it's to the downside or to the upside, I don't care how many signals it sends, we won't take any until it's above 1795 or below 1789. Because you can see it's just stayed in this range. Just about 45 minutes. So what's everything else doing? So this ended up being a huge move down on the NASDAQ. I don't know what this was here. Get rid of that line. This this did finally. If you look here, we had a similar range here on the NASDAQ. Didn't I draw out that over here that I drew that out? So this would have finally worked for 15 points. You can see that range that it was in up to that point, and it finally broke. And here's the Rankos on it. So we could have went in on this second Ranko here from 437 and went all the way up to 440. Oh wait, what? I must be. Hold on. Sorry. 416 all the way up to 440. That would have been, good. Excellent. 15 points. We would have got, I mean, more than that, but we'll look for 15 points. Okay, hold on. What's Copper doing? Copper's trying to head back down. That does seem to be the direction it wants to go. Direction the Nasdaq's going. Gold's giving us another short signal. But again, it's at 1789.4. We want to see it break 1789. So we'll come back. Back here on the Rankos. From 16 up to 40. 24 points. Obviously good. If we had waited until this short signal, we would have got out at 25. So 16 to 25, that only been 9 points. But we could have got here and here, and we could have got another 9 points out of this. So this has been good for 5 to 15 point scalps. I noticed that it really respects the SMA line. I'm sorry, the EMA line, 200 EMA, where it's better to take the moves going up. So shooting for, say, 6 points, since these are 3-point blocks. That would be good. 6 points. That one would have failed. Coming back down, waited for it to break this SMA, and we could have got 9 points so far. Let's go back, check that gold. Oh, see? Look at this. Now gold's heading back up. Staying in that range. It's now 2 points away from, 2 ticks away from that upwards resistance point. How long will it stay in this range? Looking at the DOM for gold, there's a lot of orders on the ask as you head up the ladder. Now see, it just broke that resistance area, heading up by 3, but I'm looking at the DOM and I'm seeing a lot of orders sitting on the ask. Copper trying to come back up now. So obviously that short signal would have been very bad. Sorry, I was distracted for a minute. There we go. So gold did break this resistance and it got as high as 91.2. Let's watch it to see what it's going to do. I'm not going to get in there. So I'm looking at some orders stacked up. But if we go back here and look at our trusty Rankos, you can see how all this noise on gold really wasn't a lot of noise. It sent a buy signal here, and it's gone up up to from 90 to 91. Have been an excellent, trade to get into right there. but it's also not really looking at, the support and resistance there. It's not even showing that all that resistance that we showed, that I pointed out here and all that. None of that really matters on the Renko charts, which is very interesting. Trading without noise, basically. And G. So, and again, copper is just not, copper doesn't do this often. And that's a 5 tick move down, but you see the buy. I'm sorry, the short signal, the buy signal, and the short signal. So gold now is still heading upwards. Copper came down, broke the third band, and bounced. By the way, remember that tomorrow morning I'll be streaming as well, 7:30 Eastern time. Hopefully, maybe some more action in the morning. Things have been really hopping, hopping, stopping, hopping like a rabbit. ES and the Russell has just been coming straight down. Since this short signal, it's actually come down 8 points. That's $400. So that's actually a pretty good fall for the ES. That would have been a great trade to take. It's about at the price that it opened at. Gas is coming down too. Oil is coming down too. The Rusky, the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's fallen about 28 points. And this one is kind of little bit frustrating because the SMA line was kind of slightly uptrending, um, but it was more flat. Obviously, this would have been good to take. I could have taken maybe when it broke the EMA. You see it pulling down all the way down. You win some, you lose some. If I had taken any of these based on where breaking the SMA line, this would have failed, that would have failed, this would have failed. Then the fourth one would have worked. So if we go back over here to our Renkos, what is that as a signal at 2001 or 20, and we would have got in a trade of 2012, which was here, no, here, actually, which is 22, and it's down to continuing to go down. So that would have been a good call. Even if we waited for the break of the EMA line, we would have been 15 points so far. So there's definitely opportunities. You just got to make the most of them here in the evening, even when it's slower. Now it would seem kind of weird just going for 3 points, but these are each 3-point boxes. So let's point this out. Let's say you're just trading NQ. Kind of looks like Space Invaders. A real Atari game, Space Invaders. I feel like this kind of looks like Space Invaders in some way. I'm not sure why, but I digress. So if you got in here at the open, just let it went for 3 points. In and out. 1. Each signal. 2. Each signal. 3. 4. Fail. I think. Yes. Fail. So 4, 1, 5, 1. So here, let's say you were 3 points by 3 points. So you'll be up 9 points. $180. For a 15, I'm sorry, for a 50 or a 25K account, that's excellent. That's what you needed, basically. If you're running 2 contracts, you're double that. And we're still going down here on the NASDAQ. So, it's kind of interesting here in gold. It broke out of this range, and now it's kind of in a new range. From like oh, never mind, it just broke that. So now, since breaking out of here at 1790.5, it's still only going up 10 ticks at this point. It wicked up here. It's trying to go up higher. So let's look at support and resistance here. Nothing really major. And again, look at this Renko chart. You can see how it's just been calm. Sent this buy signal here. Could have got 10 ticks here, and then it's already up another. Wait, what? Another 5 ticks. Not sure why it shows negative there. That's kind of weird. But let's make these changes here. I prefer traditional instead of ATR. Not sure why I changed the box size to 3. We want the box size to be, let's try 0.5. think that's right. Boom. Yeah. So this is going up 5 ticks each time. I like this. So this is what it would look like at 5 ticks each time on the Renkos. Up. Let's check out these signals. Russell and the ES. Oh, they're starting to try to come up again. Downtrending bands. We'll watch it. But let's go back and look at this gold. Now this buy signal here, it is below the EMA, 200 EMA. But this sell signal here, this would have got us 20 ticks. Pull back, doom. Then here, this would have got us, yep, just took it because it was above the SMA line. 10, 20, 30, 40, 45 ticks. Really? 87? Yeah? See how clean that looks? It's gotta be a catch. And here's the catch. This is ugly. uh, this would have been hard to trade. You could have went for 5 tick scalps, maybe? That would have worked, but this would have been very hard to trade. Even though you see you know, but again, if you just follow the SMA, I'm sorry, the EMA, taking the shorts, that one wouldn't have worked. It would have stopped you up. This one would have worked all the way down. This one would have been bad. This one would have kind of bad. So that wouldn't work either. This one would have worked though. This one would have worked. So yeah, so Renko still provide a challenge on some areas where it's harder to trade. Obviously this would have been nice, and what's this play with the settings a little bit more. Let's go with 2. Well, not a lot with 2, huh? Yeah. There it is. By 1 tick each. Which also isn't horrible. Although a lot of these are all 1 minute and would be very hard to trade. That's just me flying around with Renkos while you're watching. So you see here, gold has pulled back to this support area, which was the resistance area. And once something breaks support, it often becomes, once something breaks resistance, it often becomes support. So we'll see whether this can break that back down through. Or if it bounces. Nanny gas. So I don't really check out this time of night because it has barely any volume. Well, I mean, that's more volume than normal, maybe. So gold, it bounced off that resistance. Support, whatever it is. Russell, ribbit. Russell giving us a buy signal here. Above the SMA line. See, I was playing with the Russell there too. Russell kind of dancing above that SMA line, but not really going anywhere. Meanwhile, natural gas is trying to go somewhere. Which way? I don't know. Oh, Russell calling my name again. Russell again with a buy signal. Still trying. Not real convincing yet. See, the S&Ps up are trying as well. Nazi also trying. Gave it as a buy signal, but on a right candle. So I don't like that. Don't like that one bit. Looks like we might be trying here. Let's bring up a ES chart. ES. One. There we go. ES84. Oh, what? ES84. Let's try that. Boom, 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 boom. There's our ES chart. It's pulling back here. By a whole quarter of a point. Or one tick, as they'll say in the business. Close to where? 25. 25. Okay, we went in here. We're in at 46.60.50. See how we do. We're down one tick so far. I only have 4 tick stops, so it's $50. Looking for 8 ticks in profit. Now down 2 ticks. We're just one tick from being stopped at already. Okay, stopped out. $50 loss. Might be too tight of a stop loss. We'll see what it does. Copper with a buy signal here. Looks kind of strong. Let's look at it on a 5-minute chart. 5-minute chart doesn't look as strong. Crude oil. Doing that same move that copper is. What's it look like on a 5? Oh, it's a 1-minute. No wonder. Ah. Kind of bounce it off the 5 on the of this SMA on the 5-minute. Yep, see, pull back 3 ticks. Could still go, but we're not seeing a lot of range right now on anything. We see here, that they just come down enough to stop me out. And now going back up. So that might have been, I was just running too tight of a stop there. Trying for a 2-to-1 risk to reward, but sometimes that can backfire. Reminder, if you have any questions, feel free to. Oh, hey, old Lennox, how you doing, man? How was your holiday? I'm doing good. We haven't no, had like a little bit of white stuff here a couple weeks back, but nothing. It didn't, it didn't accumulate anything. Just like a snow shower. Nothing big so far here. Sounds like you're not dreaming of a white Christmas there, old Linux. When I used to live back in Pennsylvania, there were some winters where we get barely anything, and then there would be some winters when we got absolutely hammered. I still remember a couple times back in the 90s. I think it was 93 and 95 where we got close to 100 inches both both those years, and it was like schools were canceled like from January to March every other week, and no one knew how to handle it. One storm dropped 34 inches. I like snow, but then again, I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to go out and deal with it, I should say. Oh, wow. See, I would love that if I didn't, as long as I didn't have to go out and deal with it. You know, I love watching it snow. I could imagine like setting up my computer, like a room that has a huge panoramic picture windows and just watching it snow while I'm trading, especially if there's a wooded area nearby. But I'm very much a person that just likes to stay in, not worry about going out. So I definitely understand people that the people that have to go out and deal with it. I can see why they get upset with it. For me, as long as I had what I needed, you know, warmth, food, and Wi-Fi, you know, I'll be happy somewhere that it snowed 6 months out of the year. I definitely would not want to live someplace where it was like warm all the time. I do like having 4 seasons. HG. You been doing any trading today, Lennox? Russell and ES. So let's see, this is the trade I lost on the ES right here. It pulled back. Let's see how far did it go. 60.5 up to 61.5. It will only give us 1 point, so it wouldn't have worked. Excellent. Good job. Good job. I didn't trade today. I traded last night. Got a $255 win on the Russell and a $5 win on the micro and Q. Today I was spending my time playing with Renko charts. So I really like how they look, but I need to see whether or not they trade as good as they look. Renko charts. NQ. I'm staring at it. NQ, the move down. 5 points here on this candle. 22 seconds to go. Uh, Looks like we have support about 6 points away from this candle. We also have bands. You'll need to force these bands down. We see gold has actually moved back into that range it was in earlier. Got back below that support resistance line at 1790.5. You can see this down in the lower left hand corner. Is this now banging back comfortable in that range between 1790.5 and 1789 even? So it broke out, but only by about a point and then came back. You see NASDAQ did pop down a little bit off that short signal, but broke the third band and bounced back up. It's up 4 points on this candle, and going forward. I mean, it looks pretty awesome. But the thing is, TradingView doesn't do Renko the right way. So that's why I got to trade it first on Sim, make sure I'm not seeing there's drawbacks being hidden. So technically, Renkos are not tied to a time frame, but TradingView ties them to a time frame. So like, all these bars here were from 1 minute, and this wouldn't show, and this buy signal wouldn't show until that 1 minute closed. If you take NinjaTrader, I can actually do that. This is gold. Let me bring up a gold chart. Let me get it on Renko. Data box, chart trader, data box. That's what I want. No, that's not what I want. I want data series, Renko. And I want, what were these? One? Yeah. Brick size is 01. No. One. Okay. So we'll go with one. So, hey John, how you doing? I had a pretty good holiday. No complaints. Um, Relaxed a bit. That was about it. Trading's going okay. Down $40 tonight. Up 255 yesterday on one good trade on the Russell. And I've been playing with Renko charts. I was just talking with Old Linux Trucker. He's on Twitch. Should all be able to see each other now that I set up the bot to actually show each other the conversation. I've been playing with Renko charts here. And here's the gold comparison of, let me just move this here. And we'll make this bigger. I guess you should actually see here. Let me. So you can see that the Renkos on TradingView do not act the same way the Renkos do on NinjaTrader, because TradingView ties them to a time frame, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, whatever, and that's not really how Renkos are supposed to work. It's supposed to be when the brick forms, and there's no time frame to it. John, I'm experimenting with it. I need to sim trade it, and I haven't started sim trading it yet. It looks very clean, and I like clean, but I need to play with it to see whether or not, because trading, like I was just saying, TradingView doesn't do them totally the way they're supposed to be done. This is what this gold should look like. Not as clean versus the way TradingView does it by tying them to a time frame. Basically, what happens with TradingView is, let's say in this next minute, hey, you see how right now you can actually see these flashing um, bars and there was like 3 or 4 of them, but then they went away. So you never see that price action. Whereas on a regular Renko chart, you would have seen those 4 bars would form, and then it would be tied to a time frame. Right now, it's showing these 3 phantom bars, or 2 now. But if those disappear, if it pulls back, you never know that happened. Whereas on NinjaTrader, those 3 bars form. So I got to figure out whether this cleanness has any drawbacks with the way, because I'm getting these nice buys and sell signals that look like I can, at least scalp off of them, if not actually trend trade with them. So I got to experiment with them. So yeah, I have not taken any gauntlet trades with Rankos at all yet. I need like a week to experiment, but finding time to experiment and then also still actually trade my regular account and do my work and all that, just hasn't been. It's not easy. You have any experience with Ranko, John? I know there's some people that love Ranko, and there's some people that think anyone trading with Ranko is crazy. Linux, who's the guy on that you've been watching? Yeah, I'm curious. Like I said, I really like. If you look at the Nasdaq, right here I have it on 3, but it's even cleaner if you like set it to 5. I think 5 points a bar, and it looks so clean here on TradingView at least that I don't know. There's something that appeals to me. I mean, it doesn't even need the Bollinger Bands, and I like my Bollinger Bands, but they really make the charts look kind of sloppy. I just really like this, and if it can be used, then I definitely want to use it. But if it can't be, I don't want to end up blowing my gauntlet by experimenting. So I got to find some time. I just, part of me says I shouldn't be adding more confusion to my mind because my normal strategies, 50 to 60, 55 to 65% win rate if I actually do the trading. But I don't know. I just I'm not sure if there's anyone that's tried the combination of super transcript or indicator with Renkos. I'm sure someone's tried it somewhere. I haven't done a YouTube search on it. So I mean, I've heard that name before. Does he trade futures or what does he trade? Cool. Yeah, I used to use Thinkorswim. I kind of like their platform, but I don't think I can use it anymore because I think they closed my account because I didn't have any money in it. I actually looked at Tesla and Renko earlier. This isn't Tesla. This is this hot stock of the day. This is Oh wait, where did my Renko bars go? Oh, this was Tesla today. Each bar being $1 from the open. See, this has been a good. Although, see, these first. Uh, looking for a. Thought there was a. Oh, anyway, we'll do this from here to there. That's all 1 minute. So, you wouldn't have got in on that, but, this is all kind of nice. Oh, hi, Walt. Yeah, I really do like the way they show support and resistance. So much easier than the regular candlesticks and wicks and all that. Crude, copper. Copper's trying to come back up again. Copper's failed every time it's tried to come back up right now. It's strong, still have a downtrend. Crude. Oh, it's the SPY. And I'm here playing with these Rankos and all this, and I'm missing these signals on the regular charts that it would work. This would have worked, this would have worked, this would have worked. This would have worked. That's what I'm saying. Maybe I shouldn't be confusing myself even more. I shouldn't say confusing myself. I understand how it all works. I keep jumping from thing to thing. That's not really helping. Is it like a custom indicator, John, that you're using, or something more common? The new one, you mean, that you started using? Oh, and Walt, thank you for your response on my subreddit. I appreciate that. Gold. Buy signal again, but we're back in this range. You can see here, we were in this tight range here. We broke out for a bit and then came right back into it, and we're still back. Now we're back into it, and it's just staying there. So again, we want to see it break out of that range before. Awesome. Sounds good, John. Are you still planning on starting an evaluation, John? Tomorrow's the last day for the year to trade Black Friday sales. I don't know what they have planned yet for September. September? Really? December. But I doubt it's going to be as good as the 50%. Thanks, Walt. I'm trying to get good information up there. That's where this whole thing started with the live streaming and all that. Yeah, I still wish I could trade right off of TradingView, even with the very slight lag it has. Although my goal is to add a third screen and third monitor and just have all my NinjaTrader charts kind of stacked on it. Big move down, Kappa. Uh, not big, 3 ticks. Look big. Um, well, the beer money subreddit's about all various ways of making money online. Everything from mTurk to Ibotta to other survey sites to like user testing sites and everything in between. I've been on there for about 6 years, and I became very popular because I post my monthly earnings post there, and so that post is the post that gets the most views each month. Back when Reddit actually allowed you to see how many views it got, it was getting north of 20,000. So I got a reputation there. They call it Reddit famous, jokingly, but and that's why from there I've the last few months have been trying to let people know that the whole beer money thing is good for extra money, but if you want something sustained, trading's much better. Oh, that's cool, John. Excellent. some reason I thought Oanda, or however you pronounce it, was Forex only. I didn't realize they had futures. Maybe I'm mixing them up with somebody else though. But yeah, well, I've been posting that monthly earnings report now for it's about 6 years, except for the year I was down with my amputation. But I've been doing MTurk for 8 years and trying to get away from it now because it's all getting worse and worse and worse, and it's mind numbing and soul crushing. Yeah, well, I've made over 70. What am I talking about? Talking about, okay, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Reddit, John. You know, if you've ever spent any time on Reddit, but there's a Reddit subreddit called Beer Money, which is it's a stupid name for it, really. It started with people posting ways to make money online, supposedly to buy beer or whatever. But it became more of a resource now, just helping people figure out ways of making extra money online. And I sort of became Reddit famous on there because I use those methods basically to some years make over $20,000 in a year. Yeah, and so I became famous, Reddit famous there, as I would say, by posting my monthly earnings report. Whereas, some people were making like $100 a month. There were some months I was clearing 2,500, and so people started following me. And that's kind of how I started this whole live streaming stuff because I started talking about my trading journey on my monthly posts there, well, my monthly earnings posts, and people started asking me about it and how do you get started. And that's why I ended up starting my own subreddit and all that um, off of that. Here, I'll link it. I wouldn't really say I'm famous. I mean, like I say, I get like that post I do each month gets like uh, 20,000 views. I a few years back, another guy and me did a weekly show called This Week in Beer Money. It was a podcast, video podcast. We did that for like 12 weeks in the summer. Got some views. It's still it's somewhere on YouTube. The second link here is my monthly post for October. Nothing's really getting followed through here tonight. I mean, this signal on copper up here, I wanted to take in because of the uptrending SMA, but I think this actually would have worked. Yeah, it would have worked. But this last buy signal, last sell signal, and now a new buy signal all would not have worked. Yes, and I used to do a bunch more. The whole earning stuff space has consolidated, and a lot of things went away. Back in 2017, 2018, I did about 25,000. This year, I don't know, I'm probably gonna end up, I forget what my totals are for the year. 12,000. I'll probably do. It's probably around 15,000 this year. It's gotten harder. It's getting harder each year. Programs get cheaper. The amount they pay out for things, and it just gets more monotonous. I've probably done 100,000 surveys in the last decade. Yeah, that's what I do. It allows me to set my own hours. Allows me to, when I was dealing more with more health issues than now, it allowed me to, you know, do it as I could. But it's becoming more and more of a grind, and that's why I'm trying to transition out and transition to trading. That's why I just want to get funded. I mean, honestly, if I could get funded and just make $100 a day, I can replace all that time I put into that and focus on someone trading and some on just whatever else. MTurk is actually it's something run by Amazon. Most people don't realize that. It's short for Mechanical Turk. It's a place where you can get all kinds of requesters or people that put up kinds of work to do. It's everything from surveys to recording voice. Like I did a lot of the voice hits that was starting to train things like Google Home. It's pretty varied. Even let's see if I have anything up right now. I do. I think I hear. Uh, this is one thing I do. If I can get it over here into the screen, I'm not sure why it's giving me such problems dragging it. This is uh, this is 5 cents a hit. They call them hits, human intelligence tasks. Basically, I'm just looking at these pictures and see if there's any words on them. Oh, that's actually on the thing. And that one's looking for borders. That's 5 cent. These get 5 cents each. So other hits that are like surveys that are more, anything from $1 to $10 to biggest hit I ever done was $100. But yeah, it helps. There's some days I manage like $30, and there's some days I manage $100. It's very inconsistent. Around the holidays it dies because a lot of it is surveys from like psychological based surveys from like colleges that are teaching like psych courses and all that. So you know like Friday was very there was barely any work. But and each like I say each year it's getting harder and harder. They had a big bot scare a couple years back. Now all the requesters are like all scared that there's more bots doing the work than humans, so they put all these stupid attention checks in, and they've lowered pay rates and all this stuff. So I just want to get away from it because it's inconsistent. But and there's much more potential in trading. Now there's some stuff I'll always do, like there's other things besides MTurk, like getting cash back for shopping on certain sites and things like that. I'll always do that stuff. No, I've only been trading now for the last trying to trade a little over a year. I started teaching myself when I was in the rehab facility after my amputation. Figured I was laying there. If I was, I've always had an interest. I'll try to actually learn. And I got frustrated with stocks because of all the stupid rules like the PDT rule. And I heard about funding programs and I switched to futures. Yeah. 2 years ago, uh, 2 years ago in October, I had my left leg amputated below the knee. I'm diabetic, got an infection in my foot that rapidly spread, and after about 10 days of heavy antibiotics, there was nothing more they could do, so they had to take the leg. Then, once all that, I got moved to a rehab facility where I was supposed to, learn how to use a prosthetic. And, shortly after I moved there, there was a delay. They wanted the stump to heal better, a little bit better before they started the whole prosthetic um, journey. And so I got fit for the prosthetic, and then COVID hit, and you never expect to hear the phrase "your foot is on back order." So I ended up waiting much longer for my prosthetic than I expected. All in all, I had gone into the hospital late, like the 20th of September, and I didn't get out of the rehab facility until July 31st. So I lost about 10 months of life. But that's what started my trading journey because I was there. I had my computer in the nursing home or the rehab, and I was there watching instructional videos and watching some day traders and playing around with a little bit of money I had on Robinhood at the time and trying to figure this all out. I'm 47. John, they wanted me on insulin, and I was on insulin while I was in the hospital in the rehab, but I am not right now. I am controlling it through diet. Unfortunately, I can't take metformin. Metformin causes me to have to run to the bathroom all the time and come close to not making it. So they had me on some high doses of insulin when I was in the rehab because when I went in with my infection, I was in ketoacidosis. If I had waited one more day to go in, I would have died. I was having trouble breathing the night before I went in. I knew I had a bad infection, But usually I was able, I've had infections before that I was able to handle myself, but it was getting worse and worse. And they told me that if I had waited one more night, I wouldn't have woken up. So I was in ketoacidosis when I went in, plus the infection, and uh, they they put me on mega doses of insulin and all that. But now I'm doing keto slash carnivore. Although for the holiday I went off, but for the most point I'm doing keto slash carnivore and keeping my blood sugar in check that way. And hopefully I can, I'm overweight, and that's been one of my problems my entire life. But hopefully I'm working on getting that off and getting better mobility. 50-ish range of what, John? I'm sorry. And if you just got diagnosed, John, I'm gonna, obviously. Oh, I got in this conversation. I'm not even watching signals. It's not a good signal anyway. Yeah. I believe when I went in, I was in the 11s. Uh, the My A1C was in 11-ish. And they say that if I hadn't been doing keto, I'd stopped doing keto for like 3 weeks before that for a couple of reasons. But they say if I hadn't been using the supplements I had been, and if I hadn't been doing keto up to that point, I probably would have ended up dying as well. Um, so yeah, but thanks to keto and carnivore, my blood sugars are much much better, and I'm staying low. And I'm hoping to eventually put it into remission, but I know I need to get all this weight off first. Yeah, I've been trying to stick to mainly carnivore up until I went off about a week ago to prepare for Thanksgiving because I just didn't want to shock my body with a whole bunch of carbs for Thanksgiving. But I've been doing keto for a couple of months. My big issue with carnivore, because I still eat cheese. Cheese is my favorite food, and I eat way too much cheese. I need to cut back on the cheese. And I mean, I don't think I'll stick to carnivore my entire life. I think eventually once my weight's where I want it and things are my body, my health is better, I'll probably go back to just playing keto with cheat days here and there because I'm not sure you can sustain keto forever without having a cheat day here and there. At least I don't think I could. Yeah, I really do. I mean, I like carnivore. I need to have a more, you know, once money's better, I want um, better quality meats and stuff like that, grass fed and a more wide range of my diet. I stick to mostly hamburgers and chicken and eggs when I'm on carnivore, which is fine. I like that stuff, but eventually I like some, steak and stuff like that. Oh wow, genetics can suck sometimes. UltraBond. Yeah, I really believe it. I believe that our diet, especially with all the crap they put in, I think I don't think all carbs are necessarily bad. I mean, we don't need carbs, but I don't think they're all bad. And I think that even like pasta and stuff can be okay here and there if they were made back the way they used, back before they started adding all this artificial crap to it. And I think all that stuff is just destroying our health. But yeah, my goal is to stay on very low carb for most of the time, with the exception of sometimes you got to be able to enjoy life. Eat something here and there at a gathering or whatever. And I believe that as long as you're not allowing to get that, not allowed to get out of control, you can do that. But yeah, that's basically my major goal for next year is to finally get all this weight off and become a funded trader. I'm hoping the funded trader happens this, December before next year, but to build on it. Yep, I'm on at 7:30 tomorrow, John. And it was very nice talking to you tonight as well. I shall be here in the morning. As a matter of fact, I'll probably be wrapping up this stream in the next 10 minutes. This conversation, like, made the night go quick. Not many signals, so it's not like I was missing anything. Everything's kind of flat, has been here. I had to sell down here on the indices. Good night, John. See you tomorrow. Gold is still in that range. Look at that. These white lines here. Oops. Blew up the wrong chart. So it doesn't look like. I've checked it out here and there. Uh, just a couple of times. Do you enjoy his stream? I know Matt only trades in Q, I believe. Yeah, I don't like his no stops thing, but yeah, he seems like a decent guy, and he seems like he has a pretty decent community there. I have nothing bad to say about him. Not that I would say anything bad about a fellow streamer anyway. I'm not that type of person, but you know, there's not a lot of doesn't seem to be a lot of streamers that do futures. So it's definitely a niche that needs more people to fill it, I think. But yeah, every now and then I'll check out Matt. I haven't checked out Brian White yet. I'll have to look up one of his videos tomorrow and see and check him out. I mean, if a method works for somebody, that's that that's great for them. I don't know what Brian Watt's method is, but I know with Matt, it not be I just couldn't do not having a stop loss in place. I just couldn't do it. I just I couldn't run that risk. But I think Matt probably gets resets from from Top Step, I assume. So that probably helps out a little bit. Indices are curling up here just slightly, but it's just about 11 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 o'clock my time. Oh yeah, Rod Casilla, yeah, I follow his videos too, and I've been in his trade room when he opened it up for everybody for a while there. Um, uh, Rod's method is, does definitely work. Mean reversion, I guess, is his main strategy, and it's not something I've done much. But yeah, I really like Rod. He just seems like a super nice guy too. He really wants people to succeed. You can tell that, and he really wants to see futures grow. You could futures, seems to be fourth on the whole things to trade behind stocks slash options, forex, crypto, and then futures. And I like to see futures grow too. But I think I'm going to call it here for the night, Walt. It's very nice talking to you. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning at 7:30 Eastern, and Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, Friday morning this week, next week too, for that matter. Um, so have yourself a good evening, everybody, and yeah, it is way too early. I didn't realize you were still here, Lennox. You got quiet. You could have jumped in that conversation too. But yeah, I get about 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night during the week, and then catch up on the weekends. So have a great night, everyone. And if you're around tomorrow morning, I'll be here. Have a good night, Walt, Linux, and everybody. Bye.